just kind of fade out the music and switch to mic 1 and 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
All right, for the YouTube, already on YouTube right here. We're gonna be with you guys in a second. Hopefully the sound will pick up over there. And we're about to go, we're Instagram live. All right. Are you on? Are you live?
It's checking connection.
Okay.
2, 1.
And so you see the roll right there.
Okay. So it's going with the music. So we
Yeah.
just give a little bit.
And then the
bit
camera's going to go on
260
us
here.
now.
And are we live? And we are live. Good afternoon. And I'm so used to say good morning and good evening, but this time it's a little bit different. Today on my favorite day of the week, which is a Monday, not a Friday. Fridays are my least favorite days of the week because it makes me realize all the things that I was not able to accomplish that I have set for the week. So today I have the privilege, and I just want to make sure that I won't look at the cameras. Today we are on YouTube, we are on Facebook right here, and we're on Instagram Live, and we have the ability and the pleasure to be in this scenario. I did not bring my umbrella for this sunny day over here in Houston, Texas. Matthew, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity.
Definitely.
And
definitely.
my purpose with us today is number one, to tell us a little bit about this state-of-the-art, unique room that we are in right now. You're gonna see later on, because we're gonna get some footage. But if you are able to tell us, I think we're looking.
There's no volume in here.
Turn the 2 lights on top on over mic 1 and 2.
We're doing
That's
some
it.
technical right here.
There we go.
That's great. There you go.
Now you can hear us.
So, why don't you tell us a little bit, first of all, your name, your last name again. I know you were interviewed for a project called 100 Days of American Immigrants.
Yeah.
Name, last name, what is your profession, and then I'll ask the question about this particular place.
Sure. My name's Matthew Velasquez. I'm Vice President of Spanish radio station 920 AM. We're within our new project, Studio 2, and this is something I've been wanting to do for a long time. Obviously, our bread and butter of the business for the last 33 years has been our radio station. So we're 920 AM. We've been family owned and operated since 1983. And what I wanted to do is, that platform is going well. It's excellent. I can't complain about anything on that side, but we're running out of space. We literally are running out of space to provide platform for people to reach the community. So this was a side project I wanted to do to add another level of interaction with our community, with our social networks, with anybody we can reach who might need assistance on any level.
You want to also, excuse me, we're 2017, so I'm guessing you're also putting yourself ahead of the game in the curve of being still in the radio station business, yet right now this is state-of-the-art technology, and I want to play some pictures on the comments for everybody to come in and look at them. If you're right now on YouTube or you're on Instagram, on my Instagram, JC Wired, you'll be able to see the entire room. Now, tell us, because actually this is the first time we do English, for La Nueva Veinte, because in the main room, which is for the broadcast for radio, even though you do both, I would say is 90% Spanish or is 100% Spanish?
I try to keep it 100% Spanish, just because we get better response from our community when we keep it 100% Spanish language based.
Okay.
We have done stuff that goes through translators. That's okay, but I try to stay away from that because our listeners have said, well, they prefer if we can just hear everything in Spanish. So we try to keep it that way.
Okay, so so tell us the purpose of this particular media high-tech room.
Yeah, so this here is what we're calling Studio 2. It just was natural because we have our main studio, and when I was working on this one, I told my friends, oh yeah, I'm over in Studio 2 right now. Just come back here. I'm working over here building this. The purpose of this is where I don't necessarily see myself as a radio station, even though that's what I am. I see myself as a facilitator of connecting people.
Platform.
Exactly. So I need to connect a local professional with someone in need of that service. If I do that through the radio, that's great. But I built this just for the people who might not be able to get onto the radio platform or who might not speak Spanish, because again, with our radio station being 100% Spanish, if I have an English-based insurance agent, financial advisor, who still wants to try to help the community, they can come into this digital-based studio, use this to produce content for their social media platforms, for their website, and go directly to their network. They don't have to pay for my audience. You know, that's a luxury you get on the radio station. You're paying an overhead to reach my audience that I've built up over the last 30 years. And here, it's just about, you can rent our studio. It's a professional setup. It's different than, you know, using your cell phone to.
Correct. That was going to be my next question.
Right.
Was going to be, okay, right now I can pull my phone and I have all these amenities, but obviously I can tell everybody on the audience on YouTube and Facebook the benefits to being able. Not only that, the sound that you're getting right now on Facebook Live is 100% high quality. And a lot of times we sacrifice the sound because our phones don't have the ability to do so. You know, the dynamics, you know, interacting you. We have 2 cameras over here. We're also having the ability to walk out of this place. If you come, you don't have to be working for La Nueva Venta Radio in order for you to utilize this. Is anybody that is in the business of something that we're going to be talking about, which is personal branding, okay, in a second, and anybody who is willing to step up their games, right?
Exactly.
So, tell us a little bit, how does it work if I am, you know, I have my insurance company, I have my PR company, or my tech company, and I want to utilize this. How does it work?
Yeah, so basically you're renting studio time from us. So you can either rent on the half-hour basis. You come into this studio and you do with it what you need to do. If you like, you can go and do a Facebook Live video like what we're doing right now directly to your platform. If it's your personal page, your professional page, your business page, you go directly to your platform. If you want to, at the same time, record the content, which we're actually doing right now,
Right.
because again, Facebook does video quality in 720p, so we're recording at 1080, so you can take that with you, upload it later to a YouTube channel, to your own website. You can start building up a data library, kind of video blog style, where you have content now that you can reach people. Maybe if you're putting it on YouTube and doing YouTube SEO and really getting noticed now in Google search, you're just building up an organic style of
You can take advantage of just by one-time work, being present in different platforms, you know, and a lot of times we know we have to reach our audience, and a lot of times the audience consumes, you know, your message, your product, your services in a different manner. And there's podcasts, there's YouTube, there's social media, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook Live, that if you're able to have different formats, high quality, then you can distribute the same message in different types. I'll give an example. When I go running, lately I only listen to podcasts because it makes my running very short. So my music it was fun at the beginning, but music, and it makes me think of, oh my God, I still have 5 more miles, 3 more miles to run. I put my podcast, but I'm not gonna do YouTube while I'm running because the video gets, you know, touched or something. I do podcasts. So if you're able to put also that content in a different platform, this setup right here allows you to do so. And I'm really thankful that you're thinking of others. You know, this is something that we're gonna be talking about right here from this book that we will share very shortly. And so if anybody wants to know more information, over here on the description right here, we're going to be putting the website. We're going to be putting specifically, I don't know if there's a link for you to reserve this room, methods of payments, and you can discover how much it costs. And this is a great way for you to put your content previously prepared. I strongly recommend you to do so. That just don't come here and talk, please. Don't do what I do. I'm just kidding.
Either way, it's organic. And the nice thing too, that I forgot to hit on, is what we're doing here is a traditional, you know, Facebook Live style video that's a little bit long format. There's other people where they want to come in here and maybe record just a 2-minute long video, a 5-minute long video. They can use an hour session and record 5 different videos to take with them. They don't have to go live with this. So you can, every Monday, come in here, record 5 different 2-minute videos to upload throughout the week, then come the next Monday and again start all over again, where you constantly have content going, and it doesn't have to be long format. Even if you rent out an hour, you can still record the short format where it's just, here's the elevator pitch of what I want to get out today, contact me for more information.
So I will be putting more pictures of this right here, because on the Facebook Live we're getting just the cameras that are looking at both of us. I'm trying to switch back and forth to which one is the camera that is looking at me at this point. Love it, by the way. And the second thing that I like to add is we're going to be linking the information. Please, if you get the chance, connect with Matthew. And thank you for previously accepting my invitation to the project of 100 Days of American Immigrants that ended up in a party. A cool party. You were there too.
I was sad I couldn't make it. I really wanted to get there.
Yeah, he was giving a public speaking in another place. So now I want to pick your brain.
Sure.
Because on Mondays we love to get content out of people that have been in business for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And today's topic is on Mondays I like to speak about real estate. And this is for real estate professionals, but you don't have to be a realtor or a broker. This applies to everybody. I studied business administration, and at some point I thought it was a waste of my life, because I said, oh my God, I have never applied any of this, finally, till now. And I want to be speaking of Mr. Peter Drucker as far as having goals and objectives in your organization. And you can have those without having to have a 50 employee-based company. You can do that on your own. If you're not able to do it on your own, why don't you tell us, how do you, because I know this is, your father is the founder.
Correct.
And do you guys have meetings? Do you have goals? Can you walk us a little bit through that?
It's just kind of a natural relationship with me and my dad. It's always an ongoing conversation. There's not really the structured, okay, we're going to meet every Monday at this time and discuss what we're going to try to achieve by the end of the week. Mm-hmm. It's ongoing. As an entrepreneur, I think it's a little bit different setup. Obviously, you're very goal-minded because you do want to set standards you'd like to hit.
Correct.
But with me and my dad, it's a constant hey, over dinner, over hanging out at the house, it's just, we'll start brainstorming and we'll go through it. And it's just a nonstop casual conversation between us. And we'll hit an idea and he'll be like, okay, let's do that. And that'll be something we jump into. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one thing that I learned is just I took some notes right here, because this guy is a theorist, a doctor. In my opinion, he created business administration, Dr. Peter Drucker, and he talks about organizational goals and objectives. Do you have an idea what the difference between a goal and an objective is? I'm not putting you on the spot, but in your opinion, what will be the difference between one and another?
I would think a goal is more idealistic, and objective is more of this has to be done.
Okay.
So it's more of a set standard of, that's a milestone you need to hit, versus a goal is an ideal in some situations of, yes, I would like to do this by 2018,
mm-hmm.
But it could be a little more fluid. It could change what it is over time. I see an objective more as, this has to be done by the end of Q3, or this has to be done by the end of Q4.
For instance, in this case, that we have this new umbrella, this new leg of your business.
Mm-hmm.
What could be the goal?
The goal of this is to reach as many people who could never step into a radio station before, and become their own media platform.
Okay.
It's interesting for a radio station to say, I want someone else to compete with me,
okay.
But I do. I want as many people to experience what I experience on the radio side, in their own personal way. If they don't have the budget or the means to do the radio station, I would like for them to experience it and get that benefit out of it. And if I get 20, 30, 40 people in a week, it's very well possible that 1, 2, 3 of them might look at the radio and say, okay, this is something I'd like to grow into down the road. So it doesn't hurt me in any way.
Do you have any specific goals that you'd like to share with us? In regard to, do you have specific numbers to say by the end of the quarter, we'd like to have X amount of people that already have reserve or utilize the space? Do you have the specifics already?
By the end of August, I'd like to have at least 10 people per week using the space.
So the idea is to have people that come regularly, not
Correct.
only one time, but people that maybe, is this subscription based or
it's basic,
one time?
It's used as you want to use it.
Okay.
I encourage people to use it on a regular basis with some consistency, because if you're going to take advantage of social media and video, you need to have consistency. It doesn't do you any good to sit here and say, okay, I'm going to do one video and the calls are going to come flooding in. That's not going to happen.
Correct.
If you can consistently post a video every single day or once a week, depending on what your format is, that's where you'll see the results over time.
Okay.
Obviously, I learned that from the broadcast side of You need consistency. You need to let people know, hey, I'm going to be on Facebook every Tuesday at 12 o'clock.
Yeah, that's one of the things. I'm trying to get discipline on that myself. 'Cause sometimes I'm just like, boom, I'm out there. But sometimes it's good to know consistency. So it's one of the things I made.
You can mix the two. You can mix, the organic style, because I like watching your organic feeds, from your Snapchat glasses and everything. It's very nice because it's real. You get that organic feel.
Everywhere.
I want to pay it for myself. But at the same time, you want to diversify a bit. So you have the organic, the cell phone comes into play there. That's perfect for those
Correct.
situations. But then you also want to have a second level of, here's my consistent content. If I'm someone who wants to bring a guest in on a regular basis and really make it more of a broadcast style media platform, it's good to mix the two with organic and consistency. Yeah.
Speaking of the theory of business administration, going back, goals have to be realistic, which means that you have to be able to measure them, and they have been able to quantify. And the one thing that we fail at a lot of the times is being able to have explicit time period. What I mean by that is, like, a lot of times we put these goals, but we don't put the pressure, the urgency to get them accomplished in a certain period of time. That comes along within your organization. That comes along with just only the milestones to reach those goals. And my call to a lot of our agents is start looking at yourself as a company. You are your human resources. You have also your financial department, your accounting, and start setting goals by departments as well. Because otherwise, you're just going to become a facilitator for another one, and the time that you are not involved into the transaction, that's where your income stops. Now, I got a couple of notes right here. For instance, in your team, are you capable of including people into the decision-making process? Because you got a team right here. We got people behind the cameras doing, managing the computer. How aware are you of involving people into the decision-making process?
I am learning that on an ongoing basis.
When you're a leader, you tend to tell people what to do, and this and like that, and controlling. Control is important.
Yeah.
How do you let go?
It's hard. For me, is I'm in the middle of doing that myself because what I've had to do, being family-based business and our business model being very low overhead, very low staff, I had to take a lot of the control off of my dad's shoulders and really make sure that there was quality control in building the foundation. When I took over the operations of the radio station, I really changed the image of the station and what we were doing and the branding and everything. Once you start building that baby of yours, then it's hard to be like, okay, I want to give this to you and let you do it now because I understand it from front to back. So, but gradually I am getting better because I realize if I want to grow, I can't do everything on my own. I mean, it's not logical to think, well, I can
not sustainable either.
Yeah, no, not at all, not at all. And it's okay in the short term to do that at times because in this case, it was about, building a nest egg to do these other projects. So I went through all that. Now I'm ready to start expanding because I set that foundation. I have the idea of where I'd like to go, in my goal-minded situation. And now I understand, okay, who I want to start bringing on board to help me get there. And I understand it's not going to be a straight line of this is where I am, this is where I want to get.
Correct.
As I start to bring other people on board to help in the decision making, it's going to be, the market's going to pull you one way, input from other people are going to pull you another way, and so you have to be willing to adjust to whatever you need to do to get to some end point. It might not be this point, it might be, just off center a little
Correct.
bit, but the idea is to keep moving forward.
And this applies to any kind of profession. It doesn't matter because, my Mondays is for my real estate professionals, brokers and agents, appraisers, inspectors and whatnot. But this applies to anybody, and if you're a solopreneur, if you're an independent company that offers consulting, having the ability to also lose control on yourself,
Yeah.
Because you also have to do administration on yourself, set goals and set objectives and create atmospheres for a win-win situation when at the end of the day, the ultimate goal is like your client is the base of everything. And you begin with clients within your own organization. This is something I wanted to bring up a little bit more technical into business administration. If you have the chance, I'm going to link it up over here. Peter Drucker, old theory that applies in 2017 with all this technology, nothing has changed. Now, let's talk about branding. Since we're doing branding and you provide this for other professionals to actually be better, I'm gonna share this book. And then, do you have time to read books?
I'm not very good about reading.
Okay.
I don't absorb information very well through reading.
What is your medium now?
Podcast.
Podcast. Okay.
100% podcast.
It's convenient. You know,
it's
you're
convenient
driving.
because it's a time saver.
Correct.
Yeah, and I enjoy it. And to hint at some things, that's the direction I'm looking at for a lot of stuff on the radio side right now.
Okay, I mean, just let's put it this way. Podcast is a book that is being read by somebody else. in a way, you know, ideas and everything that is printed. Even though they say that the act of writing and the act of reading creates an actually different spiritual level for your ultimate results, your goals. I want to share this book with you, and I'd like to have your thoughts on it. It's called Rebel Brands by Justin Keller. I'm going to see if actually the camera picks it up. Rebel Brands. I'm going to link it over here because Justin Keller is one of our members or at We Co-Work. And he gave me this book, and he gave me the book. I thought he gave me just a book. And then I put it on my desk. I'm like, oh my God, he wrote this book. He's also an entrepreneur, a very leader in the community, helping churches around the United States to become more successful and to superb their brands and their branding strategies. And I'm going to talk about, in this book, he talks about different rules for branding. He's named 10 rules, and I actually wanted to talk about, I haven't read the whole thing yet, you know, that's what I do. I have conversations with the books. I open up a page and I go through it. But rule number 9 is called seducing, securing, and sharing. And I'm going to read just a paragraph right here and get your thoughts on it. Well, first of all, it's not about you. That's what he says in this chapter. But in this one, it gives an example. Yes, there is a power in your logos, in colors, in fonts, but there's a deep-rooted connection that happens when you use the right words. Words are what your audience shares, not your logos. Interesting. Your logos alone can be sexy and sharp, but it's the voice of the brand that makes great logos irresistible. What's your opinion on that?
I agree 100%, and I think you might understand why based on what I do on the radio side, because my whole point with people coming on the radio like yourself on a real estate show is it's about making a connection with people by informing people, educating people, not making a sales pitch. And again, that's through the logo and everything ties into all that. It's nice to have the professional background set up within that.
It's necessary. I mean, you gotta have it, but it's like the business card back in the day.
Yeah.
Now have your website and have your podcast like your business card in a way.
Yeah.
It's like a necessary evil.
Yeah. But obviously, the best thing is if you can make an organic relationship with somebody, that will lead to business for you as you're, going down the road. If I'm making a connection with somebody on a one-on-one basis like this, I might not be doing business with you down the road. I might be doing business with a relative of yours or someone else you know.
Totally.
But people don't realize that just the common interaction and building an organic relationship is the branding in itself.
And also, you want you want to captivate your audience to the point that they speak your language. That's how our mothers and parents act upon us. We ended up becoming an extension on them. And I'm going to share this with you. At We Co-Work, this is the point. We haven't printed one T-shirt or not a single logo in anything that you use within the space. You know why? Because it's not about us. It's about our members. And then he's got an example over here on actually something that happened to him. It was an ad that he saw for the iPhone 6. And then he says it was a campaign from Apple that served as a solid example. These are brilliant. The focus of these ads are on people who use their products. And he was saying that on the ad, he saw a photograph of somebody taking a picture of his own shoes. And he started laughing so hard because he did that like a week before. You know, Justin said, look, I do this. I don't know what he was going through his mind, but maybe I think I've done this with the cappuccino here and with my phone and showing a little bit of extension of my shoe. I don't know if you ever done it before, but he felt connected right away with Apple iPhone 6 just because they're putting themselves, it's not about a phone, it's not about the design of the phone, it's about people and how we connect with these devices in this case. So I think it's a very, very interesting book. I know he's got a podcast that I'm going to be linking over here for Justin Keller. I know the majority of his audience are churches. That's his message is tailored on his Instagram. I mean, the quality of his videos and his podcast is insane. I've been learning so much, and this is one of the good things about We Co-Work, is that we enhance each other by leveraging, by borrowing, by copying ideas and cooperating, working together. So this is the book that I have right now. I know he's got a full series of podcasts on Rebel Brands, 10 New Rules for Building Brilliant Brands by my good friend Justin Keller. I will find out how to get it. If it's on Amazon, I will make sure that I get it over there. And this is something I want to share this. Check this out. Airbnb magazine. Airbnb magazine. Now this proves one more time that if whenever you're in business, you want to become that magazine or that radio station. So if it's in real estate, if it's in branding, if it's in beauty, in fitness, whatever you are, your customers will vary from very knowledgeable customers to very basic. So if you don't tailor your messages for them, you're going to start losing left or right. Actually, we were having a conversation this morning on the way here on me for fitness. I only search or look when I go on YouTube on a podcast on extremely technical, higher level content on nutrition or fitness because I've been doing it for 20 years. There's people that are barely getting started, so the message for them is from somebody else. And this is a magazine from Airbnb magazine. Check this out. And it says Havana at night and day. And it tells you, it's not talking about, I went through it and they are not even showing one single piece of a place to stay and no discounts. It's talking about the lifestyle. They're sharing the experiences of people that host and guest throughout the world. And if you're able to become your own magazine, become your own radio station, I think that's the ultimate goal. And I think we thank you for being able to spot the opportunity.
Oh, sure, sure.
and provide this to us. The only book that I've been trying to read is this right here. It's called Headstrong. It has nothing to do with business. In my case, it's got to be spiritual. It's got to be something that is very technical. And I am very obsessed with this, brain energy, to work smarter and think faster. By Dave Asprey, great book. Already I'm drinking his coffee with the ghee butter and I'm doing all these things. I've been doing the test and I've been getting the experience. I'm not doing anything endorsements on any of these guys. I'm not getting paid, so that's one of my disclosures. I just wanted to share it with you because people tell me, what do you read? How do you do it? And today, we're privileged to pick his brain and have him over here. I want to make sure that I get a 360 video that I'm going to be putting on the comments right here. So you see it on YouTube, of course. Any outcome you want to come back, because Facebook only saves the videos for a certain amount of time. Our library is being built on JC Wired. And if they want to follow you on social media, where they should go?
You can. The best thing is on Facebook. I'm very active right there.
Linked right here?
Yeah, look for facebook.com/Matt920am. Or you can look on Instagram at Matt920am.
Have you thought about writing a book?
I don't know about that.
What's your?
I've thought about.
What's your? I mean, your dream. You have a business already going on.
Yeah.
What is your little passion that you say? You know what I want? Okay, obviously this is one of them. I already can tell.
I had thought about doing some kind of audio, video style blog, just to talk about actually the state of radio right now because. Again, I don't identify with other radio stations. I see myself thinking outside the box of what the regular standard is. Yeah. So I kind of want to dive into that a little bit deeper and say, this is what I think could be changed in order to improve that mentality of, well, radio is dead or is dying, because that is not true except for the way it's being used in some platforms. So.
We do have a mentor in common. It's called Gary Vaynerchuk, who's got us ramped up in doing all these things. I'm pretty sure. In my case, is I have to be honest with you, Tony Robbins is the one that, as I will say this again, he came and changed the rules of the game. It's not about competition, but it's about domination, changing the rules of the game. When you think about Harvard University, when you think about Coca-Cola, when you think about even McDonald's, which I don't like, when you think about Whole Foods, when you think about Tony Robbins, I can say, oh my God, Tony Robbins changed my life. He hasn't done anything for me. But I will testify that he changed my life because he's been able to put himself out there and changing the rules of the game.
Mm-hmm.
He's the first one, he always says this: you are the first one or the best one in anything you do, and I know you're going to the right path. And I think we're gonna keep it short and sweet, as we always love to do that. Thank you so much for
Carlos,
accepting the invitation. Thank you guys on Instagram. Thank you guys on YouTube. And my promise to deliver to you valuable content and picking people's brains. This is just the beginning. Thank you guys for watching, for staying over here. Share it if you find any value into these videos, and all this information is going to be linked right here short. Thank you guys. Have an amazing rest of the week.
All set.